And you should have received like a message right now that says that we are starting recording. So this video is going to be available also online. And okay, welcome. This is the first of a series of webinar that we're going to host in the next weeks about Trust in Play. My name is Matteo Uguzzoni. I'm a urban game designer in the sense that I design games that take place in public space. Actually, lately I'm designing, like, again, a lot of different games. I started designing games in 2009 with a friend in Milan. We started our first project. It was like what is called like a pervasive game. So a game that is like in between the reality and like the frame of the game, and we're going to talk about that later. But we are here because we just opened and launched the open call of Trust in Play, the European School of Urban Game Design, the Elefsina Cycles. And I'm going to share all the links later about this open call. Basically, what is happening is that in the next few weeks, the deadline is May 19. We're gonna like host like some event and share like what are we organizing. Yeah, Trust in Play is a project that I was involved in 2018, I think, and it's the European School of Urban Game Design. So we started with the leadership of the Goethe Institute of Athens, and Maria Saridaki and Sebastian Quack were the creative director of the first edition of Trust in Play. Together, we got like a grant, a European Creative Europe grant, and then we were able like to start this school. And the thing that I want to share about the school today is like one of the things that we organized during the school was the International Training Week. So, oh, Alex, you're here. So we met in Athens, and we stayed together. We spent together like almost, I don't know, 1 week. And we had workshop, we had like peer-to-peer session, we have networking, and we designed games together. This was in Athens. This was in October 2019, before the pandemic. Look at us. We were like so unaware of everything and happy. But yeah, so the International Training Week was like an incredible opportunity for a lot of creative people to learn more about urban games and playfulness in public space. And a lot of people that attended were like, this was amazing. When is gonna be next? How can we have like other people doing that? A lot of friends are asking about this. And with Maria, Sebastian, and others, we were like, oh, that would be great, like to repeat that experience. And 2 years later, here we are. So the main thing of like the Elefsina Cycle, which is like the name that we're giving to this edition of Trust in Play, the European School of Urban Game Design, is that we're gonna host another summer school. And we're gonna host this summer school in Elefsis, which is like a little town outside of Athens. And the school is gonna be hosted on from the 14th of July until the 22nd. So it's gonna be the same format of the International Training Week. We're gonna have workshop, we're gonna learn together, we're gonna have studio time, you're gonna work in team, and then the 22nd, which is like a Sunday, we're gonna have a full day of open play test. So basically during the week, we're gonna design games, and then on the Sunday, we're gonna show the games to the people in Elefsis. So this is like the main introduction, why we are here. And so after now we're gonna talk, I'm gonna present you like two very important people for this edition of Trust in Play. And then at the end, I'm gonna also we're gonna have time for question and answer to those questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat, and at the end we can answer to these questions. Okay, now this was the introduction. I think we're doing good in time, so let me move on to the second part of the webinar, which is my guests of today. So let me, oh yeah, I'm hearing someone talking. Please mute yourself. Instead, I would love to, Maria and Alessandro, you can unmute yourself. So today we have with me Maria Saridaki, which is like the creative director of Trust in Play. And then we have Alessandro Giovannucci that just joined the team. So Maria and Alessandro, why you don't go ahead and you introduce yourself? Maria, you can start.
I can start. Sorry.
Let's go, Maria. Yeah. Can start.
Good.
You.
So thank you, Matteo, and huge thank to everybody for being here from everywhere, as I can say. I see old friends, I see people that I don't know yet, so new friends, and I see some people that we have communicated already, because they emailed us trying to figure out what this Trust in Play is and if they can be part of. And we will say much more about that. But regarding me, my name is Maria. I used to live in Athens. I'm an academic. I've been working with play and playful interactions more than 20 years. Digital games, hybrid games, physical games, you name it. I love building festivals. I think I can hear something, no?
No tienes por qué preocuparte de nada. Porque tengo que tomar una junta.
Diego, I think we can hear you. Can you mute Diego? Perfect. Thank
Sorry,
you.
yeah.
No problemo, Diego. So, as I said, I've been one of the things that I'm crazy in love with is cities and how we can create serendipitous experiences and bring playfulness in the streets. And I've been doing that by research projects or workshops or festivals or design games myself. But most of all, I love when I can bring people and they will do all the amazing work. And so that's what happened with Trust in Play, more or less. And a few years ago, I was working with Goethe for a strategy about different playful communities and game communities in Athens. And in the end, they said, why don't we do a huge project about games and how they can actually solve an issue in the cities? And we decided to work with trust, which is one of the most, I think, important patterns and values that we can work with. And we built this school. And the support of Goethe back then and the people that work in this project was unbelievable. We were very lucky. We were a team of amazing individuals and organizations. And of course, during the pandemic, we lost public space, we lost trust, but we found one another. And we want to repeat that. And this time we want to repeat that in Elefsis, in a city of mystery, in a city of high hidden value in many, many aspects of life that actually invites us to discover it. It's the European capital of 2023. So many projects are happening, and we're very lucky that we're one of them. More or less, that's what I have to say. I have to say much more, but I will stop here and give and invite to the dance floor Alessandro, who is one of the most dedicated and beautiful people of play, to speak a little bit about all the amazing things he's been doing and the things that he will do with us.
Thank you, Maria, and also Matteo for hosting us, everyone for being here. First of all, I'm very bad at introduce myself, so you will see me trying. So please be patient with me. I'm the last one that joined the team, so thank you for having me, guys. And I'm working mainly with the Chaos League collective, which is dedicated to LARP, live action role playing mainly, but also we are more and more into immersive experience, any sort of what we like much is when the experience are co-creative. So create context where people can create, play and be free and add elements. And if the work is well done, the surrounding, the context that surrounds you gives you back the double of what you provide. So this idea of crescendo altogether. And also is a way to play with identities and of course play with your political space basically, because if you work on the relationship of the people, if you play with your identity, if you sleep in other people's shoes, if you role play in that, if you play with or without a role, if you play in a secluded space or in an open space where people can see it, the power of transformation will happen no matter how, even if people don't want. I strongly believe that play have this anarchic side where you cannot exactly control game, which is nice, and but also you can use game as a tool, but you will never use 100% because the game is like an identity itself. And also what I like is when game gives you agency, which is the magic word to basically describe in a word what I clumsily tried to do it until now. And also I like to jump in the dark. This is why I joined the team. And I like to fail because I think fail is a big plus to our life. And I think that there is nothing more revolutionary than people that do something that is not useful, like game, that is not efficient, but is important. Umberto Eco, we all know this fantastic thinker, said that one of the 5 needs that every human being has include games. So we have the 4 that we know, having food, reproduction, sleeping, blah, blah, and also play, because there is no trace of culture that didn't play. So this is why I started with role playing, but also I'm into every kind of things that can expand the magic circle to include more possible people. I will stop that is for now.
Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you. So many themes already have been shared. Thank you so much. Yeah. So yeah, you talked already about a lot of things that I think are the thing that we are passionate about. Maybe I'm gonna share really quick to introduce the next part when we're gonna talk about urban games and then playfulness in public space. I'm gonna just share how I got into urban games. I studied architecture and I studied specifically urban planning, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna change the cities. It's gonna be amazing. And after 1 year of working as a urban planner, and I think there are other architects with us today, I was so frustrated because everything that I was doing was basically politics and economics, and I was like, where are the people? Where are the reality of where is the second layer of the city, which is made of the people that interact with each other in the street, that say hello to everyone. What is that level, right? And I was lucky enough that a friend of mine has the same frustration, and so we were like, man, we need to do something, and so we started with our first project. But yeah, I really think that urban games and gaming public space have this power to be another thing that is at the core of human society, right? So we are isolated, we are divided, we are individualistic, and when we decide to engage with something that is happening in the street, we are, I think, play our role as citizen. We play as a society. Basically, we are really expanding that concept and performing around that concept. And so yeah, urban games, we have a very, I mean, we're not gonna dig into definition, but we have a very broad definition of what urban games mean. I don't think we even use the word games too much, in the sense that we like also the word play and playful. So if you are a nerd and you want to like dig in, you can look at the work by Calois. Calois is like a French researcher, and he was like saying there are two kind of like activity that humans do in the playful space. One are the paideia, which is like games without a goal, and so we are in that space. Like something can be playful also if it doesn't have a goal. So it doesn't have to be a game. And when we talk about urban space and in public space, we're also pretty loose in the definition, in the sense that it doesn't mean like urban games can also like try to enter in some space that are maybe semi-private, or maybe also private. And what we think about when we talk about public space is like the accessibility and the ability for everyone to jump into your games. But yeah, but Maria, I have a question for you, maybe that could be useful to also like understand better what is that we like to do, and is in your experience, why? I mean, I know for me why it was important like to direct my creativity to public space and games in specific. But like in your experience, since you organize like festivals, you did a lot of research and etc. Why it's important to play in public space, and what is important for you to create stuff in public space that are playful? What is that?
Yeah.
What is your drive?
As per usual, super personal. I think always, since I was a kid, I was fascinated by the different liminal spaces around me. As I was growing up, as we all grew up, you know, the maps grew bigger and we were allowed to do more things in more space. For me, I guess it was never enough. To go further, I wanted to discover deeper what is happening to that little space that I was allowed to be. So even before I actually knew what urban games and urban play and game design was, I used to do deriva, I used to do drift, alone or with my friends. I used to walk aimlessly or with weird mystical rules in the cities I was. But what happened is that in 2008, there was a political assassination in Athens. And after that, there were riots and lots of police brutality, and Athens changed a lot. And we wanted to reclaim the streets. We wanted to make them, to create a different narrative and bring joy back in a way, or create different meaning that we would decide as, and by we, I mean everybody. That's why I think games are extremely, in public space, are extremely important, because they're inclusive and because they're serendipitous. You never know what will happen. You never know how your game is going to fail, because the city always brings new elements and people bring new rules. And I think games in general are an amazing metaphor, and you can explain and learn everything and change, but especially in the city, the games and the play you design and you create are exactly like life, because you never know what is going to happen, no matter how well you design it. So I truly believe that cities that play together and teams that play together stay together. I also believe that playing in public space can reveal the tensions and the different qualities of the space and the society, and especially ours as well. And last but not least, it's fun, it's joy, it's how personally I want life to be able in every city to have pockets of explosive play happening, when everybody can be included and understand one another and speak a different language while we are in this experience together. All that is personal. There is theory around it, but that's for the school. We will do the practical and we will do the theory.
The personal also. Yeah, there is a comment by Adir that said that they relate, because like the relationship with public space started during the Egyptian revolution in 2011, reclaiming the street. Yeah, I remember a sentence in Journey to the End of the Night, which is like a French book, and Céline was saying, we are gonna need to go back to the street. We're gonna need to go back to the street. Thank you, Maria. Alessandro, the next one is for you. I think you touched on a concept which is like the magic circle, and I think I'm really fascinated by LARP in general, especially when it takes place also in public space, because it really expands that concept. Like, so do you wanna like drive us a little through that, and in your experience in your like games, like when like performing and like co-creation ends up in public space, what happened? What is happening there?
Yeah, so LARP is an acronym that stands for live action role playing, which means that you embody your character, get your costume, get your character, and go play. Most of the time you play in a secluded space, you know, where you recreate another world. It can be the Middle Age, or it can be a university or a spaceship or whatever. So the idea is basically we escape from the reality. Also, it's very personal. I came from a town which is not super nice, which is the wonderful town of Pescara in Italy. Now it's better, but when I was a kid, it was like very known for his drugs. You know, it was a junkie town, and so the idea was, let's escape from this town and recreate another reality. But then we went back and we say, okay, now that we have things, we can go back, ritornare, ritornel. So the refrain means you re-territorialize your territory. So you subscribe your own narrative on the towns that already has this narrative. So you have to break some codes to mix up stuff. And so you have your narrative and you have to put that on the town and see what happens. So this overwriting of narrative and is something that at a certain point makes a lot of sense for us. Let me escape the escape. So go back to reality with another point of view. So, and this makes us reflecting a lot about the concept of heterotopia, which comes from Foucault, which means some spaces that can open, became something different, and then close. But for the people who experience that, this place will never be the same again, because you subscribe your emotional journey, your narrative on this. For example, in Rome, we played this LARP in Rome that were really inside the town. It lasted 6 days, so 6 days with your character, and we pretend to be a modern, postmodern version of Round Table of Camelot Knights. So the idea was we had 90 participants, 95 actually, and we live in Rome for 6 days. And since we were knights, we have a moral code with 10 rules, and we stick with that. The first rule was you will never lie, which seems like normal. And then we realize how many times we lie per day, hundreds of times, from the small one, the white lies, to the most horrible. And so also this creates an interesting feedback, consonance, dissonance, when, for example, we talk with real policemen that ask us, who are you? And they answer, we are the Camelot Knights. The policeman was like, yes, and everyone answered the same. So he received 85 answer, we are the Parsifal Knight. And also we went to the city, we went to rave parties, and we went to the streets, and we really live on that. And this was our idea, to expand the magic circle, you know, as Oizinga said, the circle that is something that hosts only the participant, but when you go public, of course, this became public, whatever you want or not. And this is also another way to one of the most important goal, I think, in this is stop the criminalization of game and playing. You know, do something playful, silly, strange. Some games in public makes people understand that it's still possible, because there are some part of population that can still play in the street, which are kids. Kids are allowed to. Grown-up are not. You know, why we don't work on blur these boundaries? I think it would be cool. and I will close with political stance that I will change because I didn't like the original one, but we can say like make cities polis again, you know, town where participation is in the center, polis in the Greek term, you know, instead of having this very efficient town where all the street leads to your workplace in and out and that's all, and even the free time is structured. Why don't use game as a liquid element that can go whenever is a small odds, games can go in and we can enjoy it all together.
Nice. Thank you, Alessandro. Games between the cracks of our lives, and also like games as a wave of fun and freedom that can invest you and like take you out. Thank you so much. Those were very great insights, both of you. So for you that you are here, this is like the things that drive us. This is why we do games. So yeah, there's a lot of intertwine between like different topics, and really we're really open to wherever you are and wherever you come from. I think the three of us, I don't know, but we come from different backgrounds, and a lot of the alumni that decided like to join the first edition of Trust in Play also come from different backgrounds. So if you're interested in play and urban games and like whatever it is, you can find here other people that have the same interest. But maybe Maria, a question for you, and then we're gonna move to the next session of the webinar, is which is the introduction of the next session of the webinar, is who are we looking for?
Yeah, we're looking for you. We are looking for curious people that they want to play together. They want to, as Alessandro put it beautifully, discover our cracks and see how we can fill them up. We are looking for people that they just finished their studies, but they have already worked a little bit. They can be designers, they can be architects, they can be educators, they can be performers, they can be technologists, they can be people that work with the environment, they can be mythologists, storytellers, you name it. Games and in public space and playful experiences and playful arts in public space can include so many different types of artists and creatives. And this is exactly what we want to do in this second version of Trust in Play in Elefsis. Elefsis is a very interesting space. It's magical and difficult at the same time. It's not a summer paradise. So yeah, we are gonna stay all together in this amazing school. We're gonna squat the school. It's gonna be really fun, I assure you. But it's not. Do not expect, laying in the beach all day. No, we're gonna discover the city. We're gonna find the myths. It's one of the most important mystical places of the ancient world. And I'm not going to say more about that because we're going to have a webinar. Our next webinar is going to be specifically about that, about the theme, about mysteries, about rituals, and about Elefsis and why we chose to have this second round of Trust in Play there. So this time we decided that we want to keep it open when it comes to the participants. Of course, as we always try to do, being there, it's free. You don't need to pay for the summer school, and you will be able to squat with us. There will be beds, of course. However, you will have to pay for traveling to Athens and traveling to Elefsis and returning back. And we will also try to cover at least 2 of your meals per day, so that you know some of the logistics. Yeah, do I forget anything regarding these important things?
No.
Good.
Yeah,
just to mention them so that you all know.
Yeah, also we're gonna have like we're gonna publish like a Q&A. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat. You can also like join us in a community, the community of Trust in Play, which is this address here. and we are discussing there a lot of things. So if you wanna like present yourself, this is the first step for your application. So go ahead and do that. In the community, you're gonna find like also like a lot of materials about urban games and playing public space. There is a question by Anna. Anna, I'm not gonna answer to that question because it's exactly the theme of the next webinar, which is gonna be next week, May 4th, I think. I mean, I wrote that down. I have a slide for that. But yeah, we're gonna talk about mysteries and ellipses. So yeah, thank you for the question, very important. Okay, talking about curious people, let's move on to the last part of this webinar where I was, thank you for your understanding, Anna. So we thought, why don't we invite alumni, the people that attended the first edition of Trust in Play, and we asked them some questions. So luckily, I see that there are like maybe more than 3 here, but I was in conversation with Marina, Sara, and Soli. So Marina, Sara, and Soli, if you wanna unmute yourself and if you wanna like turn on your camera. Good to see you. Hello. Welcome back. So good to see you. Oh, sorry, you're a little out of focus. Good to see you. So thank you so much for being here with us today. Oh, Soli's here. Yeah, I knew that there were like also extras that will show up. Hello. Okay, so so we have Marina, Soli, and Sara. You were, I would say, alumni. You were part of the first edition of Trust in Play. You were like the curious people that that we were looking for. You really engaged with games. For some of you, for the first time in your life. Every one of you was already active in public space and activities like that. So maybe why don't you introduce yourself? Where are you connecting from, and how do you see yourself? Who are you? Marina, you can start, and then you can call who's next.
Hello, so I'm calling from Nicosia, Cyprus. I am an architect, an urban planner like Matteo. And I joined the Trust in Play out of curiosity and maybe also out of lack of confidence in the playing field, because I always felt a bit disconnected from like the different kinds of games, because I don't like competitions. I don't like competitive games at all. So I was always away from that. So I wanted to rediscover playfulness, and specifically because I have the background of urban planner. So I wanted to see how I can combine playfulness with games. So it was both a personal challenge to see myself as a playful person that doesn't like competition, and also to see how I can apply that into my day-to-day professional life. And I really the transdisciplinarity of the process. We were people coming from all different professional fields. Some people not even from professional fields, they were just interested into this. So it was a really good learning experience, very rich, and there were endless opportunities and possibilities for us to relearn from each other. So it was a really fantastic experience, even though everything happened right when COVID started, and we were all questioning, what is public space? Does this make sense to create spaces like games for public spaces when we cannot access public spaces? It was such a challenging but also interesting period for myself. And what I gained, just to close and maybe send this to another one, is that I expanded my understanding of play and games in general when it comes to urban space and in general in community context. And what I'm keeping and I try to apply everywhere is this open-endedness that we find in games, that if you find a way to create creative conditions for people to contribute and to keep creating new rules and new ways to interact, it's something that can have like so many possibilities. So this is something that I try to always, it's an ingredient that I try to put in all the different projects that I'm doing that are not necessarily creative projects. Maybe sometimes they're really solid and very concrete projects and technical ones, but I try to bring this dimension in. Voila.
Thank you.
To Sarah.
Hi. Sorry for the quality of the video. My camera decided to do some playful work on its own. And you might also hear...
It's a great filter.
Awesome. And you also might hear some child noise in the background. Sorry for that as well. Yeah, so I have a background in multimedia art, philosophy, and physics. And I thought the perfect combination of that is playing in public space. And I thought about maybe developing that in a more professional way. And then I saw about Trust in Play, and I kind of couldn't believe it because it was fitting so well to what I wanted to do. And then you were asking what was the thing that you liked the most about Trust in Play. And to me, it was really this this 1 week in Athens that was so full of energy and community. And I was lucky to be in a fantastic team. And we developed a prototype that was working quite well, and we got some amazing feedback. Yeah, so this whole spirit was great. And then you asked also what changed in your artistic practice and career after Trust in Play. Well, I had a baby break, but I'm still on, I'm taking it more serious that I can work with this professionally. And I also have a network of people that I can contact for, I don't know, questions on how to use the word play, because I found out that if you use it, at least especially in German, if you use the word play, Spiel, game, only children will come, or people think it's just for children. So from discussing on how to deal with simple things like writing an invitation to people who would give me ideas on how to do the code better for a digital game. Yeah, it's an amazing network that I've gained.
Thank you, Sarah.
I hand it over to Solly.
Hello. Hello, thank you for invitation, and congratulations for the new energy and the new how to say new wave of the Trust in Play. I'm really happy to see it active again and to meet you all on Zoom. Because it's a nice souvenir, nice memory. And I'm just connecting from Burkina Faso, West Africa. And my professional background is visual designer, architect, and performer. And I was curious about the Trust in Place, the first edition, because of the aspect of let's say of the game that in the game there is not a how to say not a single correct result, and it's something that Marina just mentioned, that it's open-endedness that brings the inclusion into the process, and that everybody is invited regardless the discipline, age, background. And that was really interesting because it brings the trust and the democracy into the process. So that was what was interesting for me in the beginning, and it really gave me the confidence to confirm it also in my practice later, especially in the activities that we are doing here in Burkina that are more in placemaking, that we are trying to bring the playfulness into public space that is already playful because people live outside because it's really, really hot, and all daily activities are outside. So the public space is like a theater stage anyway, and people like to enjoy themselves. So it just confirmed that it's the right way to approach the projects and to use the playfulness as the mediation strategy. And also one of the dimensions of the media itself, like that with the playfulness we can get the concrete results. So what's interesting for me in the context of someone, I said that I'm calling from Burkina Faso, but I didn't say that I was Czech by origin, is the confrontation of the two words, like being for already 12 years, is sometimes really demanding concerning concerning the common reflection. And I think that the playfulness and the openness helps me to handle it in general.
Thank you, Soli. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Marina. Congratulations on the addition and your families also. But it's such a pleasure to hear your feedback after like so many months and years of what happened, and hear that some of the things that we did were like important. You brought like a lot of like ideas and great project to the school. So thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, open-endedness, political space, there are like so many things that you said, I think are like very, very central to what we like to create. Okay, so we are 5 minutes late. I promised that it was like a 45 minutes webinar. So let me just share the screen again, because I saw that there was like a very important question that made a lot of sense about, let me see what happening. No, let me stop this. Let me do one thing real quick. Sorry about that. Some technical.
Just to fill the time, to say that almost everybody mentioned inclusion, and just to say that in this version of Trust in Play, the company that actually does the production and assists us in everything is Liminal, which is an Athenian company that works exactly on that, on how to bring inclusion in art. So we're very lucky, and we will also learn about that more and more in the school.
Yeah, what is going on? Okay, let me do it again. I just wanted like to share real quick some important dates. Can you see the dates?
Not yet, but...
No, okay. No, I know what's going on. I know what's going on.
We see them for a minute.
We saw that for a minute.
For a flashing second, yeah.
A flashing second. So here's one again. Okay, I'm gonna do this.
Yes, we do.
Okay. I'm sorry if you see also the other slide, but basically when I launch the slideshow, it's gonna like crash. So yeah, just like to end this amazing conversation. And again, if you have like question, I saw that Maria, thank you so much for answering some of the question in the chat. But next week, May 4th, we have the second webinar, and it's going to be about mysteries and rituals. And it's going to be at 6 p.m. Berlin time. So it's not a lunch, it's like more an aperitivo or like early dinner webinar. On May 10, the application will close. So the open call is going to close on May 10. And we are planning to send the confirmation to the selected mentee on May 18. Okay, so there was a question, I think, in the chat about that. And our goal is like May 18. Again, there is like a little asterisk because sometimes the selection can take a little longer. So, but that's the idea. In May 27, there is a special event in Elefsis. It's like a one-day event. And you don't have to attend that event if you are not from Elefsis or Greece. But if you're able to come, it's going to be great because we're going to do like, we're going to talk about the games, but also we're going to have like a night game by a very famous, I would say, I mean, for me, it's famous designer, but like Simon Johnson is going to host like a workshop / game. And so that will be great if you can join us, but it's very short time, so it could be that maybe you are not able to join. But the most important thing is the school, and the summer school is going to be on July 14 until the 22nd, and it's going to take place in Elefsis in Greece. So so those are the important dates. Next week we're going to have another webinar. Please join us. On May 10, the application for the open call will close, and then May 18, you're gonna receive an email. Okay, let me see if there is like some question in the chat. Sorry. Okay, let me stop this. Maria, Alessandro, last minute comments before we say hello to everyone.
Alessandro.
Yeah, that will be fun and crazy. So join us. Let's jump in the dark together. I think one of the words that resonate more today is playfulness, and I think it's a space we need in our life. So if you feel it, feel free, because when you gather people under the umbrella of playfulness, things will happen. This is for sure. And if we manage to have a good group, things will be even better. But even just take the time to be there and to spend time in this different space that can expand, hopefully, then to the city and discover a new town and discover new people. At least I'm already excited about that.
Great, thank you, Alessandro. Maria.
I just want to add that we are already extremely happy that you're here with us, even if you don't apply. That's amazing because you're already interested, and we feel that you're already part of the community. Speaking about the community, there is an online space that no matter if you apply or not, it's there for you. It's for people that they believe in the power of play and they want to work on that professionally, or to build for their own healing purposes, to build games or experience them. So join us in the community, even if you decide not to apply. If you have more questions, we have the email, we have our social media, we have the Facebook group. Feel free to bombard us with further questions. The most important thing for us is to create something unexpected in Elefsis, something bigger, with the hope of all of you. And we are extremely looking forward to read your applications and learn more about you, and see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you. With this, see you soon, I will agree. See you soon. There are people that are joined now. I'm so sorry, but we're like wrapping up. But the recording for this session is going to be available. We're going to post that in our social media, in the community. So please click on the link that I just shared and register yourself to the community of Trust in Play. And we're gonna share that the webinar, so we're gonna have all the information there. Thank you so much, everyone. I wish you a great rest of your day, and we're gonna see each other next week, May 4th, for the second webinar on mysteries and elepsis. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, Matteo. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Stop the recording.